All right, we're live. That's Cam.
Cam?
Yeah, have you ever been fly fishing before?
I've never done fly fishing. Nope.
Yeah, I learned how to fly fish this week. What the hell day is it today?
Today is Thursday. Is that where you're just going like this the whole time?
Yeah. I look pretty badass with that fishing outfit on, don't I?
You do. And we are live this time. We got it right.
Yeah, push the button. We're good. Yeah, so I'm back from Montana. Montana's pretty, man. Have you been to Montana?
No, I've never been up that way.
Huh. I should take you to Montana sometime. That would be some sweet ass riding in Montana.
Oh, yeah.
I should show you. Do you want to see the motorcycle?
I hear the roads are just like open and flat and you can just haul
ass. You want to see the motorcycle I want to buy?
I thought you were buying it. I thought you already bought it.
Trying to, man. It's hard in Mexico. It's hard in Mexico to buy stuff. Right there.
Nice.
What do you think?
It's speaking like 3 languages to me. It's kind of interesting.
That's a Harley.
Yeah, but it's speaking like we talked about last week, I think. Kind of like BMW, but it also
but better. Guess how many horsepower that bike has?
Probably like 300.
300. I get a feeling I'm not speaking your language right now. On horsepower in cars and bikes, because 300 horsepower, that would be killer, man. It's 150 horsepower.
You got 2 things there. Each one should be 150, right?
2 things. What things are you talking about?
The V's that are sticking out.
Oh, the V's. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a V twin motor. 1,250 horsepower.
CCs.
CCs. 150 horsepower.
It looks mean.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we are. We're back. What are we talking about tonight?
We are talking about the fear.
Fear.
Selling fear.
I'm not afraid.
Mm-hmm. Why we love fear and chaos.
Why we love fear and chaos. All right. Let's do it. All right. Let's get it started like the real way. So welcome back to InfoSec to Insanity, the show where we torch the nonsense and fight for accountability in a broken industry. We're talking about the information security industry. Some people call it the cybersecurity industry, and some people are so damn lazy they don't even get that out. They just call it cyber. We're lazy people, man, I think. Well, I don't know. Every firewall configuration I've seen confirms lazy. But yeah, I'm just saying. All right, I'm Evan Francen, 30 plus years. Let's see, 1990. Shit, we're up on 35 years now, Matt. 30 plus years in the trenches. Not so much in the trenches anymore, really, which is kind of cool. You know, I think if I were still in the trenches today, I think I'd be burned out. I think I would have died. I don't think somebody can do 35 years in the trenches and keep your sanity.
Well, especially with all the SaaS stuff, like it's just constant changing without consent, or it's just nuts for sure.
Well, the thing is, in this industry, you can make a living doing nothing but the basics, the fundamentals. You don't have to learn anything. I mean, we're all constantly learning, but you don't have to. If you could just master the basics and just practice the basics all the time, you'll make plenty of money.
Well, how am I going to sit at the cool kids table if I'm just doing that, Evan?
Buy a Harley.
I won't be able to talk about EDR, XDR, AI.
Buy a Harley. Buy a Harley, learn how to scuba dive, buy a drone, get 5 dogs, marry a hot wife, live in Mexico. There's tons of cool shit you can do and still sit at the cool kids table.
Sounds like a sweet plan. Got
right.
Write it down.
All right, but not necessarily in the trenches, but definitely still swinging, man. You know, I came back from Montana Tuesday. Today's Thursday. And got right back to work on Project Broken Mirror. I finished the counties. We finished the counties. We'll be publishing that soon. So for people who don't know what that is, it's there's a long story to it, and I'll write it out eventually, but it's I'm tired of the United States. We don't know our attack surface, and our opponents do, right? Talk about China. China's been really active. Salt Typhoon, which is a stupid ass name, but they're kicking our ass. So Project Broken Mirror is a community effort to map the attack surface of the entire United States. And so I started with the counties. I did that like 3 years ago, and kind of got sidetracked on a bunch of things, but then now we're back at it. So did the counties, and I've got 800 school districts done this week.
Nice.
Yeah. There's 13,729 school districts in the United States. And then I'll probably go after, and then we'll probably open it up to the public. So it won't be me just doing it myself, or me and a guy named Seth. Seth is a hell of a hacker. But anyway, okay, still swinging. Yeah, so I'm doing that kind of shit. With me is Matt Goodacre, the guy who keeps me from driving my truck over snake oil vendors. Did you know about my rule?
Yes, I heard it.
You knew about that rule?
Yeah, everyone that I met from either company talk about that, and you've said it a bunch of times. You probably threatened me with it once or twice before.
Well, I might. Yeah. Yeah. So the rule is, if you sell a customer something they don't need, I'll run you over with my truck. I've always had a truck, pretty much. Had an F-250 for a while, which gets over a lot. And now I've got an F-150 Tremor. It's kind of off-roady. I can run over some shit with that.
I think you could run over some things, yeah.
So that's the inside joke about driving my truck over. Now, I've never threatened to drive my truck over snake oil vendors, but Matt, I'm looking to you to keep me from doing that, I guess.
Well, so I don't have the camera in the right position. I kind of moved it, but I have a battle axe on the wall over here. It's what do you call it? A plaque that I got when I left the Marine Corps. And whenever I was talking to vendors, I would have that in the background. And I told them, this is my vendor accountability stick, because vendors need to be held accountable a lot more than 95% of the customers do.
I need a vendor accountability stick. Hey, by the way, Riker's here. And
Yes.
Riker, shout out to you, brother. Leading and teaching the ones in the trenches. Yeah. I haven't had
He
people to
passed
do
his
that.
CISP.
CISSP, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a hell of an accomplishment, man. It's been.
He took your mentorship program.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's been like I think a total of 100,000 people ish have been through that program, which is pretty cool. Yeah, writing a book, doing shit. Okay, this is episode 46, and this is part 5 of our series, Matt. Part 5 of our series, and the name of the series is Accountability in Cybersecurity is Broken. Tonight, we're tearing into the industry itself. So if you've been following along, the very first episode was just us debating whether or not accountability is broken in this industry. It didn't take us long to come to the conclusion that it is. It's really broken. And then I think we transitioned into, some of the reasons why. I mean, being in this industry for 30 years is frustrating that we're still where we're at. We're still spinning our wheels on a lot of things. And I think the big reason is our lack of accountability. My father raised me. He was a Marine, and he raised me that shitty choices have consequences. And so I learned that, and I didn't believe him, and that's why I spent time in jail, I think, numerous times in jail, because I put it to the test, and then finally realized that, yeah, he's right. The sad thing is in our industry, people make shitty choices all the time, and nobody's suffering any consequences, or the wrong people are suffering the consequences. So I wanted to get, it drove me crazy when I was thinking through what this series was going to look like. And this will actually morph into now Unsecurity version 2. Unsecurity version 2 is going to be really just about accountability. But what are the root causes? I'm tired of treating symptoms. If I see another fucking framework, seriously, we don't need another damn framework. We don't need another buzzword. We don't need another technology. We've got all the technology you possibly could need to secure your environment right now, today. So why are we still here? And I think, and so that went into part two. Part two was because it doesn't hurt enough. People typically only change when there's a benefit for them. Like they see a benefit, like I could win $1 million if I do this thing. Well, then they're probably going to do that thing. Or they'll change course if it hurts. Did you ever take psychology in college, Matt, or in high school or anything?
I think I had like an intro to psychology, not anything crazy.
Do you remember this the dog thing, the experiment with the dogs? It was trying to figure out, how to motivate dogs or how to change behaviors in dogs. And what you found was we're a lot like dogs. If you feed us, give us an incentive, we'll do something. If you hurt us, we'll also do something, right? It'll change us. So that was what part two was about. It just doesn't hurt enough. We haven't suffered enough. People haven't suffered enough to really give a shit about information security. If they did, I think they'd stop making a lot of the shitty choices. And then we rolled into politicians. Information security is not an election issue. So that's why our laws, the number one law we use to prosecute cybercrime in the United States was written in 1986.
I have an update on the politician thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That motivated you to send some letters to some politicians. What'd you get?
Well, other than the other ones I got, basically I got pushed around saying, oh, contact this person or contact your actual like close people. I contacted that person and then like my immediate people, and I got nothing. Cricket. So no, from what I gather from me sending these messages and the responses that I got, no one wants to step up and take it on. They want it to be someone else's problem.
Is that the impression you got?
That's the impression I got.
All right. That's not uncommon.
Yeah.
But it just, I think, reinforces what we've said. It's not an election issue. None of their constituents are bitching and complaining about it. So, whatever. So politics, that was the part 3. And then part 4 was we talked about lawyers, the legal system, and how information security, the way it sits today, there's really no incentive for them to change the current thing. I mean, they're making millions and millions and millions of dollars on class action lawsuits. And there's so much incompetence in the legal community around cybersecurity. I'm not saying all lawyers are incompetent when it comes to information security, but a lot of them are, right? And they're making millions of dollars settling these class action lawsuits. And the crazy thing about class action lawsuits is almost all of them settle out of court. So you don't get to see the discovery stuff. You don't get to see what the problem was.
How negligent.
Right.
Or not negligent, because we don't know how to define that term, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that leads us to tonight. This one is, I think we're our own worst enemy. There's a lot of incentive in our industry to maintain this confusion, chaos, complexity, because there's lots and lots of companies that are making a shitload of money with it. Right. So that's our main topic for tonight. Next week, we'll finish this series up, and part 6 will be, what the hell is part 6? Oh, short-term thinking. Everybody's got this instant gratification, especially in the United States. One of the things I've noticed about here in Mexico is the culture is a little bit different here. But in the United States, it's like this instant gratification, this short-term thinking. We have such a small, short memory span, right? I mean, you think about talk about September 11th, 2001. This is just an example that just popped into my head for some reason. 24 years ago, coming up in a week, right? Today's September 4th.
That makes me feel old as shit.
Well, we are old as shit. But it's crazy that the things that we're allowing to happen within our country, this, around the Muslim community, around, kind of and I'm not saying I'm not going to rip on Muslims, but it's just it's the radical Muslims, right? It's this radicalization that we've allowed to happen. And we're like, yeah, well, whatever. It's crazy shit. Anyway, we'll talk about
It's
that
radicalism
next week.
everywhere, not just, yeah.
It's true. So tonight we're tearing into the industry itself, vendors, consultants, and pros, I'm using air quotes on that, who profit off fear and keep security complicated on purpose. Confusion isn't a bug, it's a business model. And we've got so much evidence to prove it. It's not a popular thing to talk about, especially when you're talking about your own industry, right? There's going to be people that I know who sell shit are going to be offended by that. If you're offended by it, well, then I must have hit a nerve, right? You wouldn't be offended by this if you knew in your heart that the shit that you're selling to people is providing value. The dollars you're charging for your service or your product is commensurate with the value you're providing. If that's true, I wouldn't give two shits what you say about me.
Well, it's also, it's similar as feedback, right? Like when you're working with people and you're talking about feedback is a neutral experience. I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing, how I'm seeing you. How you choose to respond is on you. And if you have a negative emotion or a positive emotion, that means that there's probably something for you to look at.
Right.
And maybe we should start looking at shit.
If somebody, let me ask you this, man. If somebody you never met, and maybe somebody you've never even heard of before, said something about you that wasn't true, would you give a shit about it?
No.
I wouldn't. I'd still sleep well at night. I'm solid enough in what I believe and what I do that. So, as we go through tonight and we talk about things and you're like, hey, I'm a vendor. I sell shit. Well, I do too. FR Secure is a consulting company. It's an information security consulting company. We don't sell products. We're product agnostic, and we do that on purpose. We could triple our growth rate if we decide to sell products. The problem is that's bullshit, right? If I come and tell you your firewall sucks and then go and sell you a firewall, there's a conflict of interest there, right? So we won't do that. But if you were to say, well, yeah, information security consultants are full of shit, that wouldn't bother me because I know we're not. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. So if people do take offense to some of the things we talk about when we talk about some of the vendors, the consultants, the pros in our industry who are making this problem worse, and you take offense to it, I guess that's on you. I'll still sleep just fine tonight. So yeah, we're also going to hit the what the fuck news, CISO humor. I probably owe you like $15-20 right now, Matt.
I totally forgot about that. I had a couple too. We'll settle up in 2 weeks.
I'm a man of integrity, man. I got to hold myself accountable.
We'll settle up when I'm down there.
Yeah. We're going to do some CISO humor and all the insanity that makes this show a therapy session with laughs. So let's roll.
In cybersecurity, fear isn't just a byproduct. Today, it is the product.
It is the product. There you go. All right. Segment 1.
I gotta be surprised. I didn't know this one.
Oh, you didn't know this one?
Yeah. I didn't hear about it. No, I was intrigued.
Intrigued. All right. So the first story we got, Stealerium, I call it. It's the porn sextortion malware. So there's a new info stealer called Stealerium. It doesn't just swipe credentials. It actually grabs your porn history and photos. So while you're watching pornography on the website, it'll capture photos and videos and use it as extortion. So I'll send this to your wife. I'll send this to your girlfriend. I'll send this to your mother. I'll send this to your work. I'll send this to whoever. And then you pay. Hopefully your payment then stops the extortion, but you're dealing with criminals. So I don't know. I think the only way around this is don't surf pornography, I guess. Or if you must surf pornography, do it with your camera covered. Do it on a system that's dedicated to pornography surfing, I guess, so that they can't find emails and everything else that's on your computer.
I mean, the other option is
choice.
like, don't put anything on the internet that you don't want to be there forever. And if it is there forever, be willing to own up to it. Like if you're doing whatever you're doing and they capture you, well, who cares? Don't let them have power over you.
Right. Well, I can only imagine what some of those pictures or videos might look like when somebody's surfing a porn site. It's probably funny looking, I would assume. I don't know. It's crazy because I mentioned I'm grateful that I've never had a pornography issue, and I think it comes from the fact of I was molested as a child. That's a long story. Not going to get there, but I have a lot of friends, over the years that have struggled with pornography, and even at church. I remember I had a small group. We had a small group from church, and it was a marriage small group, right? So it was couples, and we were all talking about marriage things and how to be, whatever in your marriage and whatever. And my wife got these free tickets to this, like, I don't know, marriage conference or something. So we went to it, and the pastor was a guy named Mark Driscoll. And I swear when he was preaching, and it wasn't about just pornography, it was about marriage, right? But when he was preaching, I thought he was talking to me. And then he went in and talked about, started talking about pornography and what it does to a marriage and all this stuff. And then he wrote this book called Born Again Christian. Yeah. And I was like, and one of the things he said is like 80%, I think he said 80% of all men struggle with pornography addiction. And I was like, shit, all right. There's 8 couples in my small group, right? My marriage small group. And so I'm thinking, all right, that means like 6 of us, maybe 7, if we go with the stats, are struggling with pornography, and it's fucking up your marriage. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to buy these books, and then I'm going to go back to my marriage small group, and I'm going to say, hey guys, let's go talk about this. I would be a good person to lead that because I'm not really struggling with it. You know what I mean? So that's what I thought anyway. So I bought the books, and I went to our next marriage small group, and I said, hey guys, I got this idea. And the women were there too. And I said, hey, I think this is what I learned. 80% struggle with pornography, blah, blah, blah. This is what it does to your marriage. I think what we should do is we should split off from the women, just have the men go by ourselves and go through this book together. And all of them were like, yeah, that's a great idea. Well, probably because their wives are there. You know what I mean? So that very next week, then we all met, and everybody was there, right? And I handed out the books, and I was like, whatever. And then the very next week, me and one other guy. That was it. That's all who showed up. So I thought to myself, maybe that was the 6 that were struggling. Anyway, that's a long story. So Stellarium, the what the fuck angle, forget ransomware. The new play is shaming you with your own late night browser tabs. Why it matters, sextortion at scale is going mainstream. I've never seen as much extortion, sextortion as I do today online. This one is a really nice one because it's a taboo subject. And it's going to be super effective. And it's proof attackers know shame works faster than encryption.
Mm-hmm.
What's the punchline on this one, Matt?
Pay us or your grandma sees your kinks.
I don't want my grandma's not around anymore, but I would never want grandma to see my kinks. No. All right. So pay attention if you're, and I'm not here to shame people or judge people. If you do the pornography thing, just be careful, man. unless it's one of those things where you're just openly sharing that shit anyway. Like everybody knows that you're into pornography and this is what my face looks like when I'm doing what I'm doing when I'm watching pornography. Because that's the thing about pornography, man. There's only one reason to watch it. It's to get your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
All right, enough of that. So number 2, AI supply chain attack hits Google and Microsoft. Never. They're unhackable.
Not possible.
Not even ever going to happen. Well, this is what happened. Researchers poisoned AI supply chains at the Google Microsoft level, injecting malicious code that spreads downstream. This comes from Security Week. This yesterday, maybe. The what the fuck angle. If SolarWinds was a warm-up, AI supply chains are the encore. And this time your chatbot is compromised too.
It's actually today.
Yeah. So here's the thing with this, and this just goes back to the basics and the fundamentals, right? If you're talking about getting something into an environment isn't terribly difficult. It's getting stuff out of the environment. So this goes back to just egress filtering on firewalls, which is a really basic fundamental thing. Understanding your traffic flows, things like that, would go a long ways towards stopping this kind of stuff. And it's crazy how the basics and the fundamentals stop like 90% of the attacks. And it doesn't cost you a dime. I assume you have a firewall. You just got to figure out how to use it right. And maybe we'll do a class. Maybe we'll do a class on how to set up a firewall correctly.
I don't know if that would be helpful. Everyone knows how to do it. It's just priorities, business,
Priorities,
usability.
accountability.
It's that whole you make one compromise thing that you've always talked about. You keep getting farther and farther off
But
track.
if I do one thing that stops 90% of the attacks,
egress filtering,
and I don't need a fucking budget for it, at least not a CapEx budget. I'll have to pay somebody to do it. All right, so why it matters? All AI devs are inheriting the same broken trust models as traditional software. The difference, attackers can weaponize it at machine speed, faster than you can think. I don't know if you've used, I think you mentioned a few weeks ago, or maybe it was a month ago, you mentioned vibe coding.
Mm-hmm.
So I started asking, actually the best one I like is Google Gemini. Is because I was just testing. When you said that, I was like, I'm going to test some of this stuff. So I tried all of them, really. But I had, I was messing around with Gemini to write some code for me, and some simple code. It wasn't crazy. I can't code that fast.
Oh, it's fast.
Holy shit. And the quality, I mean, depending on how complex.
How you set it up.
Yeah, your prompt's got to be right. And that's why I think vibe coding for somebody who doesn't have any coding experience is dangerous. But if you've got a coding background, wow. I've started using it a lot more just to write simple functions that are much faster than I can do it by hand.
I have a model where I just imported the full Python library instructions, full on OWASP, got all of that in there. Make me something, use this standard, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you don't put those guardrails around it, you don't know what you're going to get.
Exactly. And so you assume that your attackers probably have some coding experience and probably know how to use this better than you do. So in this case, the AI supply chain attack, if it hits Google and Microsoft and then downstream, it's going to hit whoever. You got to be careful. I mean, they can weaponize this using AI, which is much faster. I couldn't keep up with, human-wise, I couldn't keep up with the code. I mean, unless I did the basics and the fundamentals, but it seems like nobody wants to do that shit. So,
well, let's think about the accountability on this too, because Google was trying to sell Gemini, but they realized they were behind. So now they just give it to you. for free. So now you're directly connected without even consent, really.
All of them, man. It's not just Google. I mean, X,
Microsoft, you have to pay for Copilot, but
yeah, ChatGPT. I mean, OpenAI, X with Grok. I mean, it's, and even the price you pay, it's so small. You know what I mean? It's within reach for anybody.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's that whole. We talk about accountability, and maybe that's part of tonight too, right? Why does Microsoft continue to get off the hook for writing shitty software? I mean, if I
I
wrote
don't think
shitty, yeah, you know, well, because they got some fucking lawyers.
I don't think we'll ever get an answer to that question that we like.
I mean, you write shitty software. I buy it because essentially I have no choice because you monopolize the entire industry. Take, the Office suite, for instance. I have no choice, right? If I want to function in today's world without, constant translations of everything, then I have to use your shit. Your shit is buggy. It causes me harm. And somehow yet it's my responsibility to make sure that I maintain your shit. And it's not like maintain your shit like you need an oil change, maintain your shit. It's maintain your shit because your shit is broken. It was broken out of the factory.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. What's the punchline on AI supply chain attack hits Google and Microsoft?
Turns out the internet does have an off switch. It's called Google.
It's called Google. And when your AI starts hallucinating malware instead of math homework? Because I think you were ahead of me on that one, Matt.
Oh, was I?
You were.
Maybe.
Because you're talking about the next story. Google went down.
Oh, yes. I jumped down to grab the link to look at the article, and I was in the wrong spot.
Gotta stop eating the crayons, man.
They're right here, though. They're
true.
readily accessible because
Emergency rations.
Marines like crayons, so they're always right here for me.
That's right. All right, so that leads us to number 3, man. Google went down. The world freaked out. What happened? Google suffered a global outage, freezing Gmail, YouTube, Maps, and Search. I don't know how many people actually recognize this because it was wasn't everywhere, but it was a lot of where. The what the fuck angle? For an hour, society went through digital withdrawal symptoms. Productivity flatlined. Bing had its one shining moment. Yay, Bing. And nobody used it. Yeah. Bing had its shining moment and nobody really gave a shit. Why it matters? Our dependency on a single company is terrifying. There are a small number of companies that we are so dependent upon. Oh my God. So I guess the thing is, if you were to, and it's not like, I mean, it is kind of prepper stuff, but what would you do if you were out of power? What would you do if you lost communications? I mean, just personally, what would you do? You got to think about that because we are so tied into these things. Like, would you be able to get from point A to point B without Google Maps?
I probably wouldn't. I'm pretty dependent on that.
Well, I mean, that's something to work on, man. It's part of your own contingency planning.
Right. I mean, I think at that point, like, I wouldn't have anywhere to be, so it wouldn't really, like, matter.
You still got to get water.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but you got to think about those things. And I've used this example before, where Hurricane Lydia that happened a couple of years ago was a Category 4 hurricane, hit us directly, and it was a blessing. It was actually a really big blessing because I'd never been through an actual natural disaster myself before. So we had no communications, we had no power, we had no water. And it was like, oh shit, okay. And I kind of had prepared a little bit just using just thinking about it. But it was a great exercise. I think the same thing were to happen like widespread, take, a Google outage or a big power outage where you take out half the grid or something. People are going to freak the fuck out.
Yeah, like a couple days My CEO actually gave us this book 1 second after
I met that guy. He signed my copy.
survived the CrowdStrike incident. You met this guy.
I did.
Nice.
Yeah, he's from North Carolina, South Carolina. I don't know, one of those two Carolinas.
That's awesome.
Did you read that book yet?
I did. I read it like right after she gave it to us because I tried to start a book club and no one wanted to be in it.
Dude, I'll be in your damn book club. Why don't you give me a call? I love reading, man. Right now I'm reading. I always forget the title of what I'm reading, but
I struggle. I have like 50 books to read.
That's because you're a Marine.
I'm eating crayons instead.
Yep. So the name of the book I'm reading right now is The Dope: The Real History of the Mexican Drug Trade.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I'm listening to a podcast about Pablo Escobar right now.
Yeah, that's cool. Reading is so good for your damn brain, man. It's good for your eyes.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, so maybe that's what we do when shit goes the fan. I can't go to YouTube anymore. I can't stream my, next football game. I'll have to fucking read a book.
Shit.
Right. I have to get like a paper thing.
Damn it.
I might have to
no
walk
audiobooks
somewhere.
Anymore.
Right. But we should start. I mean, truly, it's not that far fetched. We should start thinking a little bit about those things, because if Google goes down, there's also interconnections that, you talk about supply chain, you talk about, Salt Typhoon. And that's not in the What the Fuck Happened This Week, but holy shit, man. I'm surprised if people really knew what Salt Typhoon has on us, you'd be freaking the fuck out right now. I mean, it's everything. And I'm not one of those sensationalist guys that's like, freak out. This is my freak out face. This is I just won the lottery face. So I'm not really freaking out, but.
Well, you just have to go back to trust, right? We create these relationships with our partners, Google, Microsoft, Verizon, whatever. We trust them. We pay them money. We trust they're going to provide us a service. How often are they violating our trust? Nearly once a month. So at this point, you should expect at some point it's going to crash. And that, to your point, that's not being a prepper or anything. It's just how they're behaving and how much we're tying into that.
It's logic, man. I mean, if anybody's got a contingency plan and backup plans and, hot sites and everything else, it's Google. But they were out for an hour. And that's a scary thing for sure. Our dependency on a single set of companies is terrifying. When Google sneezes, the world catches a panic attack. That's what happens. All right, the next one, number 4, TransUnion breach, 4 million people affected. Like, oh, that's it. No big deal. I'm used to like 300 million. Yeah, who cares?
Equifax.
Well, that's the thing, man. I should write a book on this too. The scam that is the credit reporting agencies. We talk about Equifax, TransUnion, whatever the other one is, I forgot. Man, they collect data that somewhere, sure, on a loan application, I signed away my rights for them to collect this information, but it was small print. Nobody explained it to me. And you've given them access to all this shit, and they monetize it. They make lots of money off of your information. And the crazy thing is, like, I don't remember ever applying for a social security number. I don't remember ever asking for a social security number because I didn't. When you're born in the United States, you get a social security number. So it's a number that I never asked for. It's a number that I didn't create. It's a number that I can't change, not easily. And it's a number used to track all this shit about me that I don't remember giving anybody any permission to do that shit.
And it's
I
only
did.
8 digits.
I know I did. Right. Yeah. Numbers too.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, TransUnion.
9 numbers. Whatever. I had to count it out.
That is 9. Yep. All right. So what happened? TransUnion admitted a breach impacting over 4 million people. the what the fuck angle at this point, getting hacked seems like part of the credit bureau business model, because it is. Why it matters? Identity theft is no longer a one-off. It's a subscription plan you never signed up for, which is kind of where I was going.
But it's a free subscription for dark web monitoring.
Right. I don't think there are credit bureaus here in Mexico. Is there? I'm only about a year and 3 months away from becoming a Mexican citizen.
Bow, 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 bow.
So then if you steal my U.S. identity, maybe I won't care.
That seems like a good contingency plan.
That's a big reason. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we moved to Mexico too. The thing is, like Mexico, there ain't no nuclear bombs aimed at this place.
Right.
They're all going up there. So it's like, so you're more than welcome to come hang out if shit hits the fan.
TransUnion should just issue punch cards. Your 10th breach is free.
They should do that. A breach punch card. We should, some of these punchlines, we should create some like some merch on this stuff. You know, I mean, I'll be up in Minnesota in middle of October for Hacks and Hops, and I should give out some TransUnion punch cards.
A T-shirt would be cool with like a black T-shirt with a punch card with punches on it. That'd be cool.
10th breach is free.
Yeah, it's got 9 punched in, and then 10th breach is free. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Maybe
I'll do that.
I'd buy that.
All right, hackers. Go ahead. You got.
I was gonna say I'd pay $1 million for that shirt.
Not $1 million of your own dollars, of course.
Of course not.
No, I ain't gonna spend my money on that shit. All right, number 5, hackers exploit Grok AI. Surprise, surprise. So what happened? Cyber criminals figured out how to abuse X's Grok AI to build phishing kits and malware. So it's a hack, meaning it's a misuse of the tool. It's not like a hack where they got into necessarily Grok AI and stole shit. It's misuse. So what the fuck angle? Elon's AI is now writing better scam emails than human hackers. Absolute truth. And you can use Grok AI to even find your targets and do spear phishing. We used to do. Spear phishing was you find whales, right? Typically, or a specific target or specific group of targets that have shared common interests and things like that, so that your phishing approach would be much more successful because you'd hit on something that's personal, something that somebody would be like, oh, how did you know I collected stamps? You're a fellow stamp collector? Well, yeah, I'll connect with you on Facebook and blah, 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 right? So that's the spear phishing kind of attack. The thing is with AI, especially when you can misuse it, is you can do that at scale. That's crazy shit because it's much more effective. And that's the one reason why spear phishing is not widespread, because it's not a good return on the investment for the attacker, because it's so much work that goes into, well, yeah, exactly, man. So why it matters? AI arms the attackers just as fast, if not faster than the defenders. It's absolutely 100% true.
So now if spear phishing is scalable and everything is better, can we just stop phishing, smishing, vishing, whaling, and just call it fucking social engineering, please? I don't need 10 buzzwords to describe the same thing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll go with that.
That's another fear thing. Oh, the executives don't care about smishing or phishing because they're whales. They should only care about being a whale. This is stupid.
It is stupid.
Another fear thing. Anyway.
Confusion, man. It sells.
From meme generator to malware author. Nice pivot, Grok.
Boom. All right. So from porn sextortion malware to AI poisoning its own supply chain to Google proving how fragile the internet really is, this week shows the chaos isn't slowing down. And if credit bureaus and AI companies keep fumbling the ball, the insanity writes itself. Which brings us to CISO humor. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Cybersecurity Fear Factory. Where your dollars disappear faster than your data, every booth comes with a free side of bullshit.
Step right up. Get your ransom-proof application. Zero Trust in a box. And the magical AI Hack Stopper 3000. Now with 50% more buzzwords.
That's right. I need some of that. That's awesome.
It sounds like I should buy it right now.
Well, yeah, if we were good at Ron Popeeling, do you know who Ron Popeil is?
A little bit.
All right, you need to Google Ron Popeil. He was the guy
Keel and Peele show, right?
Ron Popeil, he died, but Ron Popeil was like the infomercial master. So
okay,
like all kinds of shit. But,
like the that guy that did. Yeah, okay. I'm trying.
Yeah, but if you act right now, you can get, and we'll throw in a free whatever the fuck.
But limited time offer. Act now.
Exactly. All right, so you might be a CISO if your vendor pitch deck looks like a Marvel movie trailer.
You might be a CISO if your board asks if we've bought the magical amulet yet.
You might be a CISO if your firewall rules are older than your interns.
True. You might be a CISO if your CEO thinks zero trust is an HR policy.
What? We got to test that somehow. That there are CEOs who think that that's what it is. Like zero trust, like you can't talk about anything in your personal life because this is a zero trust company.
I definitely tried to bring in more personal stuff into work because how you act outside of work is how you act in the office, or even these romance scams, right? It can all overlap and impact the organization. And they're like, yeah, don't go there.
Right.
All right. I guess you're not there yet. Well, wait till you have a sextortion, then come talk to me.
Wait till it hurts enough. Yeah. Wait till you get divorced because your wife finds out that that's why you haven't been performing in the bedroom, because you've been performing.
You were on the camera at the game with your HR VP or whatever that was.
Oh, God. That one too. All right. You might be a CISO.
That's not even extortion. That's just like a public thing.
That's just stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the key is, like, if you don't want to get caught cheating on your wife, don't fucking cheat on your wife. That's the only guaranteed way that's not going to happen. And if you I'm kind of a stickler on that. Like, and if you want to cheat on your wife, get a fucking divorce. Grow a pair of balls and tell her you're not, I want to end this thing so I can go.
You're not in it no more.
Live like I'm fucking 17 again. I mean, grow the fuck up. Anyway, sorry. All right. So last one, you might be a CISO if you spent more time this week explaining acronyms than securing systems. Oh, you want to clap? I got a clap button.
Yeah, I want to clap on that one.
Yeah, that's our clapping.
Nice.
So Matt and I, if you don't know, we just found that we got buttons that we can push for certain sound effects. And I don't know how to use them yet. We should practice, maybe.
We have this reoccurring thing that we never do.
I know. It's because it's
we'll do
Sunday,
it.
And
when I come down, we'll get some time.
I hate meetings.
Yeah, we'll get it.
I hate all meetings. All right, so we got a skit. The skit is the snake oil sales pitch. Imagine the scene. We've got a vendor booth at a security conference. If you've ever been to a security conference, you guaranteed you saw a damn vendor booth. Matt's going to play the vendor. I'm going to play the skeptical CISO. So, Matt.
Roll up, step right up. For just $1 million, you too can be 100% hacker proof. Our product has AI, blockchain, and maybe even fairy dust.
Really? What does it actually do?
It reduces risk.
How?
By reducing your bank account balance.
Look, we did the laugh thing, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Now we got the CISO support group, a support group circle for burned out CISOs. So I'll start it off. Hi, my name is Evan, and my vendor told me their AI would stop ransomware.
Hi, Evan.
Imagine like a group saying, "Hi, Evan," like welcome me to this group.
Hi, Evan.
Have you ever been to like AA before? You know, "Hi, I'm Evan. I'm an alcoholic." That kind of thing. All right. So my name's Evan. My vendor told me that AI would stop ransomware. Hi, Evan. Then the ransomware asked the AI to join the gang.
Hi, I'm Matt. My consultant told me compliance equals security.
And the group says, "Did you fire them?"
No, I promoted them to VP. If I could talk, we're laughing.
We're laughing. All right. Okay, here's the Fear Factory product showcase. I'm Evan. I'm your MC. Tonight's lineup of cutting-edge security products. We've got the Firewall 9000. It doesn't block hackers, not just block hackers, but it blocks your budget requests. But there's more. I've got more. Zero Trust Shake Weight. Who doesn't want to shake a few pounds? Zero Trust Shake Weight burns calories while burning through your budget. We've got the MFA fatigue pillow right over here. It's beautiful because your users are already tired. We've also got, and the last product I've got to sell you is the Incident Response Magic 8 Ball. Every answer is, it depends. Are you interested in any of my products, Matt?
I like the MFA fatigue pillow and the shake weight. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I could go with the Zero Trust Shake Weight. Have you ever seen those before? Those shake weights?
Yep.
You don't want to use it like this.
No.
Right.
You've seen people using them like this too. It's
Yeah, no.
no.
Try to get that as far away from you as possible.
Yes. You don't want that on your sextortion video.
No. And not just that, but like if you do it right here, like feel the flab on your
Oh yeah.
It's not there, but if you pulled it out there, feel it flap. Do you feel it?
You're actually
you get a lot more
vibration.
benefit. Yeah, you get a lot more benefit from using that shake weight over here. So if you're interested, Matt, I'm going to be putting these up on the website soon. The Zero Trust Shake Weight, we have a deal this week. Buy one, get one free. So you can do 2 shake weights at the same time, both Zero Trust.
Nice.
It'll burn calories, burning through your budget. I don't give a shit about your budget. I just want to sell you some shit. But it's guaranteed for you not to give a shit about it. Dude, it's cutting edge. It's Zero Trust.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So if you're interested, we're going to be putting those up on the website. Limited time offer, buy one, get one, because we're just, announcing this now, right? This is super exciting. $99.99. So
awesome.
Yeah, buy some for your friends too.
Of $33.
Well, just give me your credit card number and we'll take care of the payments. Don't worry about it. All right. What's our key quote, man?
Cybersecurity products should come with the same warnings as cigarettes. May cause death, financial ruin, and uncontrollable laughter in CISO humor segments.
We should
have that. You just need to make more, bro. We already got the warning. I have.
You're right. We do. I do have stickers. I need to create some more warning stickers.
You guys made those on the shit show.
Dude, we've got so many product ideas today.
So I would say
bunch of stickers and T-shirts. We're gonna have merch.
It needs to go
everywhere.
beyond cybersecurity. Like that shit should be on my cell phone, should be on my Alexa, on my anywhere where that shit's integrated now. Your car, your
warning stickers,
lights, all that stuff.
I mean, for crying out loud, dude, there's a warning sticker on my coffee cup when I go to McDonald's to get a coffee. That tells me that the contents might be hot. Yeah, it's fucking coffee. Right. And we had to do that. You know why we had to do that, right? Because
someone sued.
Yep. And they lost the case.
So this makes no sense. There's class action lawsuits because of breaches, but yet we don't do anything. There's a class action lawsuit because I got burned. They put a label on it. What the fuck are we doing? I guess that's why it's a what the fuck segment, I guess.
That's true. All right. Laughs aside, the Fear Factory isn't just comedy. Matt and I are getting better at the comedy thing. So if you're listening, to the podcast, we're doing the live one now, but if you're listening to the podcast later, you got compliments.
People. I've been pointing people to the podcast.
And they're like, you guys are actually so stupid. It's funny.
I've heard funny a couple times.
Funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Entertaining. Yeah.
Well, I entertain myself all the time, even without pornography. All right, laughs aside, the fear factory isn't just comedy, it's real. Vendors are cashing in, consultants are dodging accountability, and practitioners are adding complexity they don't even understand. The crazy thing is we're supposed to be protecting things we understand. If you already don't understand your environment, how would it make any fucking sense for you to continue to add more shit to something that you don't understand? It's like simple logic. Anyway, so which is exactly why our main topic tonight is how selling fear became this industry's dirtiest business model. So this is discussion, no format, no script, talking points for flow. The business is fear, man. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what sells information security products.
You know, I think it sells because a lot of young people, or the new wave, they don't have to be young, new people crossing over, it's flashy, it's sexy, it looks fun, and then it's like a drug. You get a piece of it, just keep giving me more.
Well, the crazy thing is the complexity of all of this, right? You've got so many information security practitioners who can't remember what life was like when it was simpler. Because I've gotten pushback before on, when I've talked at conferences before, and I've been on their ass about configure your damn firewall. Do you have an asset inventory? And you talk about the importance of an asset inventory and everybody's shaking their head. Yeah, you got to have an asset inventory. It's like, do any of you have one? Well, yeah. Well, do me a favor right now. Grab your phone. Tell me how many applications you have installed on your cell phone right now. You don't know. And that's your own fucking cell phone. And the point is, every single application, every single piece of equipment requires maintenance. Every single piece of software beyond Hello World has a bug in it. The average is somewhere between 7 to 9 errors per 1,000 lines of code. You take my Ford truck that I mentioned earlier, that's got 250 million lines of code that run that truck. How many bugs are in that truck? I would much rather have a 1970 F100 for crying out fucking loud. I mean, probably less chance of dying other than the fact that I can't find parts for it and whatever. But the thing about complexity is it sells. It's easy to sell somebody something when you use fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and people are afraid to ask the questions. I had one vendor who actually was trying to pitch one of our customers, and for some reason they asked me to come and sit in this meeting to talk to the vendor. I was like, how does this thing work? And he was, skirting around the issue. I'm like, no, tell me how it works. And he actually used the phrase invisible processes. I was like, what the fuck is an invisible process? He's like, well, it's a process you can't see. Like, there is no such thing as an invisible process on a computer, right? It's not magic, but that was one of the ways that they sold things. So you've got the complexity to make the sale, right? This complexity, this confusion, this fear, this uncertainty, when you talk about social engineering, the best way to social engineer anybody is to use emotion, right? That's why phishing emails have this sense of urgency to it, this sense of like, if you don't go and do this thing right now, log into your bank account and do whatever, you're going to lose, the IRS is going to crack down on you or some shit's going to happen, right? Because that gets the emotion. And the trick is to get you to act before the logic comes, before you think. You see politicians doing this shit all the time. They've got their political, their base all freaked out and angry about something that doesn't even exist. Mm-hmm. Like when you saw Trump win the election, I saw a whole bunch of videos about how we're going to lose all of our rights and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what rights are you going to fucking lose? I mean, give me one. But it's this emotion that gets you to do things before you actually think, before you question, before you stop. So you use complexity, use confusion, fear, uncertainty to get people to buy. But if you want to keep them, if you want to keep them and get the recurring revenue, which is the holy grail in any business, is monthly recurring revenue. Monthly recurring revenue. Get them, keep them subscribing. The way you do that is through complexity. Once you got the shit in your environment, it's so much work to get it out.
Yeah.
Not just that, but I'm going to have to fall on my sword as the CISO who made the shitty purchase. I'm going to have to fall on my sword and say, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have bought that.
That won't happen.
No, it won't happen. And I told you about my story. One of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this was when I worked at MGI Pharma. That was my last real job before I started FR Secure. It was a pharmaceutical company, an amazing mission, an amazing culture, great leadership. The CEO, Lonnie Mulder, was awesome. One of the best places I've ever worked. And we made oncology drugs. So drugs that you take when you got cancer. And the number one drug we made was a drug called Aloxi. And Aloxi was an anti-nausea drug. So it would combat the side effects of chemotherapy. Right? It was a really noble cause. And we made this drug, and we would watch every quarter, we would watch videos from people who are taking our drugs and telling us, the whole company, right? All company meetings, how it's improved their life, how it's lengthened their time on Earth because they're still taking their chemo or still doing their chemo, right? So we had this great thing that I worked at, and then I bought this network access control solution, and I didn't think it through. Spent $250,000 on this thing, and it ended up just sitting in the rack. Never used it because I needed at least one full-time employee to make this thing functional. I should have known better. Right? So emotion is what led me to buy that. And it really pissed me off because the fact of the matter is I stole $250,000 from MGI Pharma. And people will say, well, you didn't actually steal it. Well, what's the difference? That's $250,000 that they can't spend on making our drugs more accessible, making them better, giving them away for free. And that's the weight that you need to feel as a CISO when you make shitty choices. Now, we can either force somebody to feel those shitty choices like what we talked about in part 2, or you're a person of integrity and you feel it your damn self. And that's the kind of people we need in this industry. People of integrity. People who will do the extra work to configure the fucking firewall the way it's supposed to be configured. People that will do the extra research to make sure that the things that they're buying are actually providing value, that they're actually spending their next information security dollar on their most significant unacceptable risk. Own the damn thing, right? So that's kind of a beef on these pros, these professionals.
Well, the other thing too, there's a lot of professionals in cyber because we're lazy, remember, cyber. But there's so many that are just salespeople.
Right.
That are in the industry. They don't even do it. They don't know how to operate it. And we're listening to them as the pros.
Yeah.
Like, you should be the pro. You're the pro of your program, your understanding of your company. You should not be swayed by anybody other than what your vision is.
Right. And your job is to serve. This is a service industry. My job is to, if I'm the CISO, if I'm in a leadership position in an information security program, I consult the business to make good information security risk decisions, and I implement those risk decisions. So I want to be a good consultant that they make good risk decisions. That means I have to understand what the fucking risks are before I ever go and try to get budget. Right. So then you tell me as the business person, whatever. And some of those things you might delegate. Right. So we make these are our unacceptable risks that we need to accommodate. And this is how much it's going to cost for us to do it. There's your justified budget. That's how you do it. It's not fucking rocket science. Yet in the confusion and the complexity of today's environments, It gets lost. Like, what is information security? What is the name of this game? It's risk management. You know, I don't know what the hell most other people are doing. So
They're
you've got
fighting hackers, and they're doing threat hunting.
Well, and maybe those are important things to do, but not in.
And they're spending money at a burden. Oh, I can't get my budget because you probably don't fucking need it.
Well, there's a lot of people too that, you read some of the advice that people give on information security things, experts, right? And it's like, oh my God, what are you telling these people to do? Right. And there's a lot of like, what do you call that? Like justifying my shitty choices. So I made shitty choices. I bought this product. I don't know. I mean, I think it was the right product to buy, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not transparent enough with myself to know if it's the right product to buy. I don't know. But I know that if I can get 10 of my friends to buy this product, 2, now I feel justified a little bit because I'm not the only one. Even if I did make a bad choice, I'm not the only one who made a bad choice.
Then I'm sitting at the cool kids table, and I'm in the bucket of not negligent because I'm in the herd.
Right. And you wonder why, one of the things we talk about in this industry a lot is imposter syndrome. And I wonder, and it's a real thing, but I would certainly have imposter syndrome if I knew I sucked at my job and I keep my damn job. One of the things, because a lot of the things we do when we talk about imposter syndrome is you get other people in our industry. It's like this herd thing. Like, I get it. It's okay. You're not an imposter. You really are good at this. We give them this support thing. But what about, are there not times when we should go to somebody and be like, the reason why you have imposter syndrome is because you're a fucking imposter. You're acting like you know all this shit about information security and you're doing the right things and you're whatever. And then you look at your security program, you're like, you don't know shit. Just admit it. And because I've run into that lots of times where I've not known shit. And I'm like, oh God, you're right. I mean, I just told you the story about, MGI Pharma. That was a damn mistake. It sucked. And nobody gave me shit about it. The CEO didn't give me shit about it. Executive management gave me shit about it. My team didn't give me shit about it. Nobody gave me shit about it. I gave myself shit about it because I knew I made a mistake. And I think that's one of the ways you can combat imposter syndrome is get honest with yourself. Be who you are. That's it. Don't be anybody else. So anyway, we've got a lot of people in this industry, I think, when you talk about selling fear, a lot of people that are the target of these sales and things, they don't know any better. What am I supposed to do?
Where do they go to find their answer? Gartner Magic Quadrant.
Oh, God. Not that that's scammy or anything.
Okay, so then they go to Forrester. My bad.
Yeah, the inventors of zero trust, right? That's why we put trademarks now on zero trust. They invented the words zero trust. They did not invent zero trust.
You can go back to the Rainbow books. I mean, this isn't anything new.
Yeah,
I should buy those Rainbow books, put them and be like, here, this is all still relevant.
Mm-hmm. The red one and the orange ones were the only ones that I really give a shit. But all right, we've also got this on the predator side, and I've referred to these people as like wolves in sheep's clothing. So on the one side, you've got a lot of people in our industry, and I know I'm being hard on people. I know I'm being hard on people in our industry, but you get paid to do what you do, so do it well. It's okay if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's not okay to not know what the fuck you're doing and not admit you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Because you can work with the second one, you can't work with the first one. You continue to do a disservice to the organization that you're working for and their customers. You continue to misspend information security dollars and not do anything about it. That's not acceptable. But we all started somewhere. I mean, it's not like we were born with, firewalls in our cribs or anything. I mean, it took a lot of learning. But you have to listen then, right? And admit it and call bullshit. Like if you know something that I don't know, call bullshit because I need to learn too. I mean, you're saving me from hurting other people, right? But there's so much intimidation in this industry, so much posturing where people don't feel comfortable asking or challenging. Oh, you've been in this industry for 35 years. I mean, I can't possibly question you. Yeah, you can. And my wife should write a playbook for that because she questions me all the damn time. I mean, I need to be questioned. If it doesn't make sense to you, either I didn't explain it well or I'm talking bullshit. That's it. And if I do one of two, and this is what you always look for, like if you're questioning somebody in this industry about why they're doing what they're doing, if they change the subject or they attack your character, they're full of shit. Because if they actually know what they're doing and they can defend what they're doing with logic, they'll explain it to you with logic. The same goes for talking to other people in our industry. The same thing goes for talking to vendors in our industry. It's just, I mean, it's not rocket science, but you gotta kind of grow a pair.
Ask more questions. That's the key.
And
I've run into so many
yeah.
people that are like, well, I don't know what questions to ask because I can't get my hands on it or I can't use it yet. I need to do that first. Like, nope, you need to start thinking higher.
I mean,
You should already know what you want the thing to do when you go to look at it.
Well, that would be the ideal, right? If you're in a leadership position, you should already know what products you need or what functions you need, what specs you need in the environment before you ever go out to the market. That's ideal. That's the right way to do it. But if you're new in this industry or you've been approached by a vendor and what they've said is something that's intriguing, it's like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Ask them how it works. And to the point where you can explain it to me, like I'm an operator of this thing. I know how it actually works, and then I can fit it in my environment, and I know what risk it's going to take care of and whatever. But I often sound stupid. I don't know a lot of shit, man. I mean, if I'm going to be buying something, if you're going to make me part with part of my budget on something, you better explain it to me like I know what it is. Because I'm going to actually have to sell this. It's my environment, so I have to defend it as well, right? I'm the guy that has to say, well, this is what it does, and this is why we did it. The vendor doesn't have to do that shit.
They're gone as soon as you sign. You get handed off to an implementer who hands you off to a customer manager who then hands you off to an engineer. You're 6 things in by the time you know what the fuck's going on.
Exactly. And then in the article I used, talking about snake oil and the snake oil playbook, in the article I mentioned a company called Tyversa. And I don't know how many people have heard of Tyversa, but it was one that I remembered as I was, preparing that blog post. Tyversa, they fabricated leaks. They essentially extorted people. It's almost like they hacked them to sell them something, right? So it was an extortion scheme, and it took, fear, uncertainty, and doubt to the extreme. They're out of business now. Thank God. We should be putting those people out of business. That's not why we're here. The modern version, and I'll call out, who's that? Cybersecurity Ventures. I think Robert Herkovec is involved in that somewhere. But they're the ones that came out with this by the year 2025. I think that's this year, or I can't remember what year they said, but they said cybercrime will cost over $10 trillion. It's like, where did that number come from? Because there's no loss data to support that shit. 10 trillion. Holy shit. Yeah, I better buy some stuff. What do I got to buy to not be part of that $10 trillion? There's no methodology. Scary numbers. If you look at, and this is what, I'm hoping that people that are listening will be more discerning before they buy things or when they read studies. Most of the surveys and studies that are done in our industry are done with bias. If you know how studies are supposed to work, how statistics are supposed to work, there's confirmation bias where I sell phishing protection, right? So I'm going to sponsor a study of phishing statistics. I'm going to ask the questions in a way that I'm going to influence the results in the way that I want them to look. And so you're going to say, we asked 1,000 CISOs, across multiple sectors, what their scariest thing was and how they would protect it. And it just happens to be that the thing that they would use to protect it is the thing that we happen to sell. I mean, you see this, look at all the studies in our industry. They're all sponsored by somebody who's trying to sell you something. Mm-hmm. Am I going to take their word for it?
Everybody that you're going to talk to is having an agenda. It's your job to discern whether that agenda is going to further your agenda, support it, or not.
Right. My job isn't to protect the organization from cyber attackers only. My job is also to protect our company from vendors. Mm-hmm. Vendors who sell me things that don't provide value to the organization. That's my job. So, you got to take that shit seriously. The cycle, it's played over and over and over again. Hype it up. Make some big statistics, some things that are going to grab news, that are going to be on CNBC or CNN or some shit, right? Create the hype. That'll create the fear, because then people will be like, oh my God, what am I going to do to protect myself from that? Hype, fear, solution, purchase. If it's a real hype, if it's a real fear, maybe I'll purchase. Because maybe there are times, that maybe vendors will bring things up that I've never heard of before. I've never seen it. Like, oh, really? Tell me how that works. Because maybe this is a threat that I never accounted for in my risk equation. And maybe I need to consider. But it's going to be logic that's going to drive my decision. It's not going to be emotion. It's not going to be fear. Fuck, I'm supposed to be the one who's not afraid here. Right? I've been told, there was one salesperson who worked for us for the longest time, and he used to say that if you ever see Evan freak out, it's time to freak out. My job's not to freak out. My job is to solve problems. My job is to figure out how to protect. What's the best way for me to protect this organization? That's my job. It's not to fucking freak out. It's not to buy shit out of emotions. So there's this example that I used in the article too, this Senate hearing. And this happened back in 2021. And this was the SolarWinds breach. And if you want the link, I think the link is maybe in the blog post as well. But the link to the actual transcript of what took place. Just so you know, I'm not pulling shit out of my ass. So in this, it was after the SolarWinds breach. They decide, well, let's have a Senate hearing, right? Because we want to, do Senate hearing things. So you had a whole bunch of senators, and then you had the witnesses weren't me, you. The witnesses were FireEye, Microsoft, CrowdStrike, and SolarWinds. Big players in our industry. FireEye, purchased by Google, probably worth, $800 million to $1 billion. Microsoft, you know them. CrowdStrike, $1 billion to something. They're worth a lot too. SolarWinds, they were the oh shit guys. So he asked a question, and it was really the senator was Senator Wyden. He's a Democrat out of Oregon. And he's like becoming kind of a cybersecurity champion, in my opinion, because he asks logical questions. And he made a great observation in that SolarWinds breach. In the SolarWinds breach, there was one government organization that mitigated the breach, meaning they had the malicious code in the environment, but there was no breach. There was no breach because there was no command and control. It was the IRS, and they were running a firewall with egress filtering. So the SolarWinds system couldn't talk to the attackers. So the code came in through the back door, right? SolarWinds source code was compromised, deployed out to all of their customers, and then there's a command and control component. So the IRS, if there's one organization that I wish would have gotten hacked, it would have been the IRS. But they're the ones actually setting the example in this. And so Senator Wyden pointed that out, that, everybody said this was an attack that couldn't be mitigated. However, the IRS did, and the IRS did because they were doing, egress filtering on the firewall, blah, blah, blah. That's been a best practice since forever, right? And he pointed out, here's the NIST guidance, NSA as well. If you're going to use a firewall, this is the right way to use a firewall. And then he asked the question from each one of the witnesses, would a properly configured firewall have mitigated this breach? And I'm paraphrasing. The first one to answer was Kevin Mandia, FireEye, Mandiant. And he says, it depends. And when I heard that, because I was watching that, when he said it depends, I'm like, no. It's a yes/no question, man. And then he goes on to say, FireEye has done over 600 penetration tests this last year, and not once did a firewall stop us. And I'm screaming at the screen like, that wasn't the fucking question. See, and that's the point.
He's distracting, right?
Dude, I'm telling you, those are the two things you need to pay attention to. Change the subject or attack my character. He immediately changed the subject. The subject was, would a properly configured firewall have mitigated this breach? He goes on to say, it depends. And then says, firewall hasn't.
We're awesome.
No, he goes on to say a firewall, right, in the 600 penetration tests that they had done, not once did a firewall stop them. A firewall versus a properly configured firewall. Two totally different things. You just changed the damn subject. And not just that, but now you just told me what I'm thinking in my brain is you have 600 customers that you never advised to run their fucking firewall correctly. So you're doing a disservice beyond just this, not answering the question correctly. And then he goes on and blah, 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 blah. And then he ends his testimony on this particular question with essentially, yes, a properly configured firewall would have mitigated this breach. However, it's operationally cumbersome. Okay. So doing your job correctly is hard. It's work. It's operationally cumbersome. It doesn't matter. It's a fucking tool that's meant to be used this way. You use it the way it's meant to be used. If it's operationally cumbersome to use it that way, change your operations and use it properly. That's that simple. And there's no other way around it. If you misuse a tool, what other tool are you going to use to account for that? There isn't one. There's no other component you can put in your environment that's going to mitigate the risk of not using a properly configured firewall. It's that fundamental. And then it goes on, CrowdStrike, George Kurtz, one of my favorite people, not really, basically agrees. Microsoft guy, he agrees. Microsoft guy was the president of Microsoft. He's a lawyer by trade, so I think maybe sales, but he didn't know what the hell he was talking about anyway. The SolarWinds guy, yeah, that would have mitigated it because this system didn't need to speak to anything on the internet. So the point of all of this, you have this example, you have industry experts, FireEye, Microsoft, CrowdStrike, SolarWinds, that could have, but you can't see the bias in this.
They're not experts, they're vendors.
Well, and they are experts. Kevin Mandia knew exactly what he was saying, and so did George Kurtz. But what money is it? What money will they get? How is that good for business for me to tell you, yeah, just use your firewall right? I mean, yeah, duh. You don't even need half the software we sell here if you use the firewall right. But that was really, really frustrating. And if your environment is so complex that it is truly operationally cumbersome, too operationally cumbersome for you to use a firewall properly, maybe you should simplify your environment. It's just logic, man. Complexity is the worst enemy of information security. So that was an example. And I'm not saying that, Kevin Mandia, George Kurtz are bad people. And I'm not saying they even did this
with malice,
consciously or with malice, but they've been around for a long, long time. They've changed a lot from where they started to where they are today. And we see that a lot in our industry where people, I mean, I use the word sellout, but it's not intentional though. I think it just happens, right? You're throwing around lots and lots and lots and lots of money. And that can cloud people's judgment pretty quickly, I think. So anyway, there's lots of examples of where fear, uncertainty, doubt, complexity is all used as a business model to sell more shit. Every organization, the reason why, they come out with new products every quarter or every, some new features, some new update. Most of the time, those updates that they're coming out with are not updates I give two shits about. I don't need it. I don't use half the things that you have in this product right now anyway. But the reason why you keep coming out with new features and new things, and everybody wants this, like, buy this one thing and it solves all your problems, that'll never work. But they keep doing that because that's how they continue to make money. If you don't continue to create new software, new features, new things, people stop buying it. You just feed into people's, that's why Apple comes out with a new damn phone every year. I don't need an iPhone 17 that's coming out in 2 weeks. But, I probably will end up buying one. There's my freaking iPhone 3 worked just fine, but it's no longer supported either. All right, practitioners adding to the chaos, deploying tools they don't understand, environments. We've hit all that stuff. And this is, the one thing that I use truly, because I'm out here preaching, right? Like my shit doesn't stink. That's not true. My shit does stink. I already gave you one example. I have to be constantly reminded, and that's one of the reasons why I say it all the time. Mission before money. Because the people around me have to hold me accountable because I'm human too. I have an executive management team that's top notch that will tell me if I'm making shitty choices. I have a wife who will tell me if I'm making shitty choices. I have Matt who will tell me if I'm making shitty choices or if it doesn't make sense, right? So I say mission before money. And the thing is if you focus on the mission, you'll make plenty of money. I have plenty of money. I don't want any more fucking money. If you focus on the money, I won't make the mission. And if I won't make the mission, then why the fuck am I here? Why did I spend the last 30 years here if I was focused on the money? How could I sleep at night? How could, talk about imposter syndrome. Holy shit.
Yeah. What's driving you?
Yeah. So our industry, sadly, I think flips this upside down.
Oh, for sure.
Which then leads to the lack of accountability, man.
Even if you step outside of sales into networking is all just the same thing. It's sales, money, laundering.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with sales. There's nothing wrong with sales. It's what are you selling, and are you selling something that's in their best interest? Or are you selling something that, could harm them? Because It's the salespeople that know. If you're honest with yourself, you know that the person you're talking to right now has no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You know for sure that this person doesn't have the basics, the fundamentals down, that the best spend of their next information security dollar should be somewhere else. And I don't blame salespeople necessarily either, because salespeople have to make a living too, man.
They're doing a job, right?
They got to pay for their family and everything like that. But you can do sales with integrity. But it takes, leadership. It takes leadership at CrowdStrike, at Microsoft, at Google, it takes integrity from the top. And it'd be nice if more people kind of, I guess, subscribe to the same. If you sell somebody something they don't need, I'll run you over with my truck. I've questioned too. You've seen sales come through. It's been a long time because I'm not involved operationally as much as I used to be, but I remember there was an assessment, an information security risk assessment that we sold to a health system in like Oklahoma or Kansas or something. And they were asking me about it. The customer had already signed it. And I looked at it and it was like $120,000 or something. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Why is it that much? Because I don't feel comfortable with that at all. Because if you spend that kind of money on just the assessment, you're not going to have any money left over for remediation. And then they explained it to me, because I think they saw that I was grabbing from my truck keys maybe. But they explained to me, that this was a big healthcare system and it was multiple assessments kind of wrapped into one and whatever. I was like, all right, but I don't know. Reputation, I think, is really important in this industry. So accountability means we need to recenter the mission. Why are we here? Our job is to protect people. This is always about people. It's always been about people.
What is it? The CISSP or ISC squared thing? It's protect people above everything else.
And that's all of cybersecurity is about protecting people. You know what I mean? It's like people's jobs, people's identities, people's online safety,
physical safety.
People
at this point.
Right. So anyway, Matt, some key quotes in there. In cybersecurity, fear isn't just a byproduct. It's the product.
Confusion's intentional. It keeps the cash flowing.
Sadly, that's true. If you don't know your environment, every new tool just makes it worse. It's like a dog chasing. For some reason, the vision I get is like, you have the kid that gets in the school bus and your dog chases after the school bus as it goes away. Like that school bus is like the information security, the risk, and I'm like the dog. So like when I don't know my environment, I don't know why that vision comes to mind, but what happens is it just gets worse and worse and worse, farther and farther and farther away. And you may not give a shit. And if you don't give a shit, I would love to talk to you, because you need to get the fuck out of this industry.
Find a new gig.
Yeah.
Mission before money. Protect people. Profit will follow.
Always does, man. Accountability dies every time we reward fear instead of facts. All right. We've torched the fear factory, I think. If you've got something to add, if you're a listener, if you've got something to add, something you disagree with, we'd love to hear from you. Because especially when there's times when you're like really passionate and you're kind of angry with it. Anger is also an emotion. So if you sense the anger behind what I'm saying, it's stealing some of my logic. So maybe you've got something to add, maybe a counterpoint, something to argue. We'd love to have you on the show too. So we torched the fear factory, but what do we actually do about it? Up next, segment 4, our broken industry fix list, where we lay out real ways to stop rewarding fear and start demanding accountability. We've got some things. Matt, what's our first fix?
Gotta demand proof. Don't buy on fear, buy on evidence. Make them prove their product works. Otherwise, don't be afraid to walk away. I would, demanding proof is also asking more questions. I think we should be able to ask questions without having used it
Mm-hmm.
or seen it. There's just like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, become a professional question asker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And beyond just making sure that it works, prove that it works in my environment. Right. And if maybe we'll set up a lab that is a mimic of our environment, I probably wouldn't let you put your shit in my live environment, but mimic it so that I know that it's going to work the way you say it's going to work in my environment. I want to see proof. So the key quote, if your security product only works in a PowerPoint, it's not a security product. It's theater. Fix number 2, keep it simple. Complexity kills. It's the worst enemy. If you're an information security leader, look for every possible opportunity that you can capitalize on to simplify the fucking environment. Places you can simplify the environment. If you're a leader that's got enough pull, you can do organizational complexity where you've got multiple steps in getting things done, going through multiple people. I don't know if you ever played that game. It's funny because a lot of the stuff we were taught as kids, you remember that game we used to play at camp? We had a circle of kids and you'd whisper something in their ear. And they'd whisper in the next one and the next one and then come all the way back. And it was always like, what the hell was that? That's a really good example of organizational complexity and how that can kill communications. It can lead to misunderstandings. It can lead to assumptions, rumors, bullshit. You got to get rid of it. Another place to get rid of complexity is your own tech stack. We've all got technology we're not using. Even in my own fucking house, I've got technology I'm not using. If I'm not using it, get rid of it. It's bringing with it vulnerabilities. A threat, vulnerability, risk, bad things. So lots of places you can get rid of complexity. If you don't have an asset inventory, stop. For crying out loud, do not buy another fucking thing if you don't have an asset inventory. And it doesn't have to be a perfect asset inventory. It doesn't have to be, it's never going to be 100% accurate because you're going to have certain things that are going to sneak into the environment or leave the environment that, it's pretty transient. But if you haven't even taken the attempt to build an asset inventory, don't buy anything. Understand what you have first. Yeah, you might have a zit on your face, but you're also losing a fucking kidney. So don't buy another tool until you know what you're protecting. Less noise equals more clarity, and clarity equals better defense.
Every unnecessary tool you add to your environment you don't understand makes you less secure, not more.
Amen, brother.
I feel that all the time.
What's fix number 3?
Call out the BS bullshit. Stop letting vendors and consultants hide behind their buzzwords and scare tactics. Ask what the real risk is. Where's the data? Show me the data. The answer is depends. Push harder. Again, ask more questions. Get better at asking questions. How does it work? Like, if you used one tool and one interface, I don't care if it's EDR, email, SIM, whatever, you know how something is supposed to work. You click on things, things drop down, things do things. You have a general idea what a thing is supposed to do. Ask questions about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Push.
Yeah, accountability starts with asking better questions, man, and not settling for fuzzy answers. If it's not clear to me, keep asking. Fix number 4, educate. Don't scare. Right? The better we all understand things, the better we're all going to be. Vendors should teach customers how to manage risk. How will using this thing help me manage risk better? Right? And not risk as a buzzword, risk like threat and vulnerability. Right? Throwing something into an environment that takes care of a whole bunch of vulnerabilities for which I have no threats is bullshit. There's no money. That you did nothing for me. right? I could have all the vulnerabilities in the world, but if there aren't no threats, I got no risk. The same works conversely. So I don't care if your tool will take care of a whole bunch of vulnerabilities necessarily. Point it out to me, help me understand what threats apply to those vulnerabilities so that I can manage risk better. Teach me, not terrorize. Don't terrorize me into buying more stuff. CISOs should empower boards and teams with clarity, not drown them in jargon. Right? It sounds all cool, right? When you show them that vulnerability dashboard or how many threats you stopped at the firewall, it's all bullshit. That doesn't matter. You need to translate that into risk. That's what they need to manage. Fear builds dependence. Education builds resilience. You need resilience, not dependence.
Security done right feels boring, but boring, man, is it beautiful.
I'm telling you, dude, I love boring. Maybe it's just because I'm old, but holy shit, I would much rather have boring. I can take a nap when it's boring. I can't take a nap when it's not boring.
You got pretty good at ping pong, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that was the Jask software days.
Mission before money. Profit is fine, greed is not. If your North Star is the mission, protecting people, you'll make money. If your North Star is money, you'll kill the mission and erode the trust.
Right. Mission before money, man. Protect people first. Profit follows. All right. We've roasted the industry. We've laughed at the Fear Factory. Well, maybe you laughed. I don't know. I don't think we're that funny, but maybe we are. That'd be cool. We laid out some fixes, right? We gave 5 fixes. Again, if you agree, disagree, we'd love to hear from you. Now it's time to bring this thing home. In our outro, we'll hit the bottom line. Fear might sell, but it doesn't secure. Never does. Emotions don't secure shit. Sometimes the fight or flight thing can help a little bit, but this isn't a fight or flight thing. This is a fake fear that you're facing, right? A fight or flight is like, yeah, there's a bear standing right next to me. Yeah, I'm afraid as fuck. I'm running. That's a different thing. So in episode 47, coming up next episode, we're diving into the last installment in the Accountability and Cybersecurity is Broken series. Truth is, we're addicted to short-term thinking, and it's definitely screwing us all. All right, closing rant. Fear might sell, but it doesn't secure. Chaos might keep vendors rich, but it keeps customers broke and vulnerable. Until we stop rewarding fear and start demanding proof, accountability is going to stay broken. It's fine to make money in this industry. I'm not anti-money. That's why I want to buy another Harley. That's, I like money just as much as anybody else, but I'm not going to sell out to get it. But it's not fine to do it at the expense of the very people we're supposed to protect. My job is to provide value. Mission before money, always. If you focus on the mission, again, you'll make money. If you focus on the money, you won't make the mission. It's that fucking simple.
And that's the bottom line, because ZTA said so. No.
ZTA? Who's ZTA?
I was going to throw in Stone Cold, but I switched it.
Oh, all right.
That's the bottom line. Stop buying magic amulets. Start demanding accountability. Maybe, just maybe, we'll start fixing things.
That's right. And speaking of the mess, like I said, next week we're going to wrap up the series, part 6. We're addicted to short-term thinking, and it is truly screwing us all. Security is a long-term game. Most leadership isn't, especially in the information security industry. I think the average, maybe today, tenure for a CISO in Fortune 500 is maybe 3 years. Maybe, I don't know. I'll get some, but when I write that article, I will know, and I'll put it down for you.
I'll do the survey and I'll have the metrics, and it'll be 3 years.
Exactly. All right. So that's why we keep repeating, though, the same mistakes over and over and over again. So if we actually want to fix these things and make this stuff better, we're going to have to fix it. If you think fear is bad, wait until you hear how short-term thinking is absolutely sabotaging everything.
Step right up, grab your beverage of choice and join us live. Let's end this series with a bang. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Share your thoughts on Twitters and all the things with the hashtag InfoSec2Insanity. I guess it's not Twitter anymore. It'll always be
Mhm.
Twitter to me.
It's X.
Drop
Dog.
your drop your questions and stories in the comments. Don't forget, email us show@infosec2insanity.com.
And one more time, congratulations, Riker, on passing your CISSP, man. That's a hell of an accomplishment. We'll see you next week.
That's awesome. I don't even have that. So good
Yeah.
job.
Right. You will.